Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Great Canadian Hockey Podcast. On behalf of myself, James Parisi, and my co-host Aidan Serra, we're coming to you. How you doing, Aidan? What's new? What's new in the life of the voice of the Blackfalds Bulldogs? What's going on here?
I'm tired, man. Oh my God. See, there you go.
For
I'm
those of you who's
no,
other
we're
than
just
me
gonna
who
cut it.
can't
We're just
see,
we're gonna cut that.
Aiden dropped his mic.
No, we're gonna cut
He
that.
wants us to cut it, but unless it's not getting cut. No, we need some humor here. We
I
need some
just
humor to lighten up this sleepy, tired episode.
I literally just knocked it over. No, yeah, and I am tired. Now, like again, it's one of those good ideas in theory, right? Where you're sitting down before the playoffs and you're like, "Hey, Scott." Scott's the director of the department. We work together, and I'm like, hey, let's just both go on the road for these playoff games, right? It's like, we get good highlights, right? We get a good call of it on the road for the radio broadcast and for our highlights. You can do camera, so you can make sure you've got like good usable footage because some of these road rinks we go into, their broadcast isn't very good. So, like it's a great idea in theory. And then you start the playoffs, and the first round ends in five, so you only win away twice. And then you play a second round that goes seven, and so you're driving 2 hours to Drumheller three separate times, and that's not an hour there, hour back. That's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And then you play four home games, and my home game days are 12-hour days. And I did all that because we just played a 7 game series, and it finished today. And I, James, like I'm pretty sure I suggested doing the podcast today, and I can't even fathom why I did that.
Well, you did it, and here we are. And yeah, I mean, for everyone, like I said, other than me who can't see, Aiden is barely 20 years old and he looks like he's 45 right now. That's how tired he is. It's if we have above 15 flubs in this pod, in this episode, don't be surprised. If you call us on it, that's okay. Leave a review. The review helps even if it's negative. So, leave us all of your terribleness. But yeah, Aiden's in rough shape. I just got off work, but I'm feeling pretty good. So I'll do my best to carry here. I'll try and carry the squad. The squad of two. But yeah, we've got some hockey to talk about as per usual. And but before we dive into that, I had one question just thinking about it after you talked about going to Drumheller. What is Drumheller like? Because before you went and started working in the AJ, I had no idea that this town existed. Explain Drumheller, maybe give me a comparable in BC.
Bro, Drumheller, and this is not a joke. Like I'm not just saying this. Drumheller is like it's on their street signs. It is the dinosaur capital of the world. They have a big paleontology museum there, and the whole town really leans into the fact that that's the main attraction there, right? Now the rink is
Wait, are there
situated.
chicken tenders shaped like dinosaurs?
The arenas was not. That was the only stop I made.
Ugh.
But to get to the arena, you have to. First of all, the team's called the Dragons too, which I don't love. Like, be the Drumheller Dinos, right? Anyways, point being, so the arena is behind their main tourist attraction aside from the museum. It is the world's largest dinosaur, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just this big T-Rex standing up that you could like take stairs to get to, and you can like sit in the mouth and look out at the town of Drumheller. It's very cool. If you're a child who likes dinosaurs.
And you did
Um,
this?
I did this as a kid when it was cool, right? I have family in Edmonton, so like when I was whatever 6, 7 years old, I went with my parents and we went to the world's tallest dino. And this is the first time I've been to Drumheller since I was 7 years old. And the dinosaur was less cool now, if you can believe it. Um, yeah, so we went to the rink there. The rink in Drumheller is the main attraction. It's also very small and they pack it. So I couldn't even hear myself think because the way I described it on the broadcast was you blow a foghorn into a shoebox. The whole shoebox is going to be very loud, right? So you pack that many people making that much noise into a very small building and the whole place kind of reverberates. And it took me a while to hear myself think after Sunday's game 6. Like it's a lot. But aside from dinosaurs and hockey, that's it for Drumheller. What I will say is it's in like a valley, so there's like a little bit of elevation. It's not like mountains like there is in BC, but there's like a hill, right, which is dope because it's not like there's that on my beautiful Highway 2 drive from Calgary to Red Deer to Edmonton every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had no idea what Drumheller was, and now that you've told me a little bit about now that you've told me a little bit about it, I kind of want to go there. I don't think I ever will end up going there, but I'm a total nerd. I end up reading every little display card in the whole dinosaur museum. I'd be going pretty hard at that. Like I went to Greece when I was 17 and me and my friend Jacob just read every single information display card in every museum, every exhibit, every tourist attraction to the point where our tour group kept having to tell us to hurry up until we finally convinced the tour guide to just extend our stay everywhere by about 10 minutes because we were going to take forever. So that kind of thing suits me. I am a full scale nerd, so I will I'll wear that heart on my sleeve there. So, but anyway, getting into some NHL hockey here. Um, yeah, I mean this wild card race on both sides, it's heating up more than I thought it would be. I thought I thought to be honest, like some of these teams were just done. Like I thought the Panthers were dead in the water a while ago. This last 15 games for them has really, really just brought things back to life. And one Mr. Keith Kachuk had a couple things to say about it. Do you want to run us through that?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't even know how to really put this. The Kachucks are good players, right? Both Brady and Matthew are excellent players. Matthew Kachuk's,
Great players.
yeah, and he's having what a second consecutive 100-point season is in the works here, and so it's just to me, like not that it's a deal breaker, like it's not like you're on the first date and this happens and you're like, okay, I'm breaking up with you. But it's definitely one of those red flags that you monitor going forward in the relationship, right? Like the meddling of the Kachuk family, because it seemed like when both Brady and Matthew were in their contract negotiations, the rest of the family got super involved in it for no reason, right? And it just seems like we're back to Matthew Kachuk's daddy ripping into the team that Matthew plays for, right? It's just like it's like I kind of looked at that like, all right, give me a break, right? Like I understand what he's saying because they're like he was at least in part right. Like that team was playing pretty soft hockey and it took some mental strength for them to rally and get back into this race. Um, but I don't know what you think, James. Like it's just one player's dad, no matter who that dad is, just seems like he shouldn't have this much of a platform for talking about how good or how not good his kid's team is.
Okay, so I will say a couple things. Matthew Kachuk's dad, Keith Kachuk, affectionately known to his teammates and a lot of the hockey world as Big Walt. One hell of a player in his day, like the kind of guy you want to have on a winning team. Played for a lot of lower end teams. Uh, didn't have a lot of success in the market of playoffs just because like he played for a lowly St. Louis Blues. He played for the Phoenix Coyotes. Like he wasn't in the best spots, right? Like this is a guy who you see his style of play and you would think his name was probably on the Stanley Cup, but it's not. And I hope that a Kachuk name is on the Stanley Cup one day. So like I think that would be pretty cool because you'd probably see the whole family celebrate. And just kind of leading on further from that, I think if anyone who saw Keith Kachuk play and has seen how passionately interested he is in his son's careers, I don't really think they'd be surprised. And I think if this was just like a random hockey dad, like an NHL player's dad who didn't have a lengthy, fairly successful hockey career piping in, I think it's irrelevant. But the fact of the matter is, it's Big Walt. What he says actually holds some relevance. Like if it's just like If it's just like random players, Uncle Joe, no one knows who this guy is, piping in on some random radio show or going crazy on Twitter, no one cares. People just dismiss the guy. But it's Keith Tkachuk. So, I'm not going to sit here and rip on the Panthers because I didn't see them play enough this year, but they kind of made a lot of changes to that team. So, like it was going to be a weird year. Like that was going to be a fact. And like they've really come alive this past 15, 20 games. So I think I mean, comments aside, Panthers are ripping. It's happening.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We've talked all season, kind of putting that trade in perspective. The Huberdeau for Kachuk one, and it was looking for a while like both teams might actually miss the playoffs. Florida looks okay right now, right? They're in wild card one as we're recording this on Tuesday night / Wednesday morning. The Islanders are wild card two, tied on points, and they're right behind the Pens with 86. It's 87, 87, 86. The Flames are in a worse spot, and they did not do themselves any favors whatsoever tonight, losing at home to
Oh,
the Chicago Blackhawks. So they are now 2 points still behind the Jets for wild card two. Jets have a game in hand, and they play each other, I think, tomorrow. So I think it's Wednesday night. Winnipeg plays Calgary, James. And if the Jets win, we're looking at Winnipeg game in hand, 4 points up. Calgary has 3 regular season games left. So it looks like the Calgary Flames, after that season they had last year, after a blockbuster trade that people kind of looked at and said, pretty sure they won, in the summertime. You've got Huberdeau struggling. Kadri's a shell of what he was last year. Jacob Markstrom looks more like round two Jacob Markstrom than any other Jacob Markstrom that has ever existed in the NHL. And Calgary, yeah, I don't think it's happening for Calgary, man. Good for Florida to get in, but it's funny that after all that, it is the Panthers that squeak in, and it's going to be the Calgary Flames that narrowly miss.
yeah. I mean, after that trade, I totally remember thinking, huh, I think the Panthers take a step back for a year and then recoup a year later.
That still might be valid, right?
Yeah.
Like they did take a step back. They won the President's Trophy last year. They're in a wild card spot. Um, it's more just the contrast with Calgary's season last year, this year. And again, the context is missing. That wasn't the only major thing that happened, obviously, because you lost Johnny Gaudreau, but you replace Gaudreau with Kadri, you replace Kachuk with Huberdeau, right? You add Uyghur, right? You replace Good Branson with Uyghur, ostensibly is what you did, right? Like so, it's I really don't even see like a partial silver lining if you're Calgary, right? Like this just kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean the silver lining that I see is everyone in my fantasy league gets to watch my team fall into mediocrity because I no longer have like three I mean average between the 300-point Calgary Flames anymore. Um yeah, I I am suffering as a result of that trade. Elias Lindholm is not the fantasy player or I mean just production in real life kind of guy that he was. Johnny Goodrow, I ended up trading him at my league's deadline because I was just getting sick of even strength second assists. And I mean, like, he's actually put together a really solid season in Columbus on a pretty mediocre team. So, like, that's pretty cool. But, and then, and then I went and traded Kachuk for Huberto and Shifley. And that didn't work out. That didn't work out at all. That went terribly for me. And now I'm holding on to Huberto in a keeper league, hoping that these pennies I acquired at the price of $1 are gonna be worth $1 again next year. So yeah, that's my bye week. That's my once a month fantasy tangent for a sec. But yeah, the point is Calgary is in a really rough spot after today's loss to Chicago. That was a must win. That was an absolute must win. And they went down 4-2 and then they got it up to 4-3. I saw the end of the game. They were really pushing. They actually almost squeaked it in. It's kind of tough. It was honestly just hard to watch. And damn, like you're getting that kind of season out of Tyler Toffoli, who's supposed to be a secondary scorer on that team. The guy's a point per game. Like the guy's a monster this year, and he actually looks crazy on the ice. It's not just one of those seasons where it's like, oh, like he doesn't look that crazy, and somehow he's a point per game. No, the guy is absolutely flying on the ice. Like, oh, it just I like Calgary a bit, so this bothers me. I live in Vancouver, so every Canucks fan's just like, ha ha ha, Calgary lost again. Wow. And like, I just feel like that's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, I don't know. That's my that's the end of my third tangent on this point. Do you have one for us?
No, I have some Philip Chytil thoughts
Okay.
for you. I like the deal, and if he signed it at the beginning of this season, I don't think I would have liked the deal. So Heedle, like 18-19 was his rookie year. He had that 9-game stint in 17-18, 11 goals, 23 points. And he kind of maxed out there. Next season, 14 goals, 23 points. Season after, 8 goals, 22 points. Season after, 8 goals, 22 points. Now, he never played more than 75 games in any of those years. And you kind of saw flashes of what he could be in the playoffs last year, 7 goals in 20 games. Um,
That whole
and
kids line showed flashes.
it was pretty fun to watch. Yeah. But yeah, him and Lafreniere have had a pretty good season together. Lafreniere, we talk about him. He's continuing to hit career highs. Heedle blew out his career highs this year. 22 goals, 44 points in 69 games. As of right now, season's not over yet. So, like again, if it's at the beginning of this season, he might not get this much money. But I would have thought it was more of a risk locking up somebody who, granted in shortened seasons hasn't quite been what he was, what everybody thought he could be, and kind of looks like he's that now. For the Rangers, getting him locked up, not long term, but at least till 25-26 at that 4-4 number, it's pretty valuable because you've got the K'Andre Miller, Alexi Lafreniere, RFA contracts coming up. Um, Again, every time there's an RFA, I think, oh, we're going to see an offer sheet, man. Rangers are vulnerable. Somebody's going to offer sheet K'Andre Miller. And then I remember this league's boring. Um, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But point being, the Rangers are in a tough cap spot. And I totally, if they win the cup this year, that Vinny Trocheck signing is awesome. I just I kind of have a funny feeling that's going to age a little bit poorly, James. It's taking up some cap space that maybe K'Andre Miller, Alexi Lafreniere should have been getting, especially with the emergence of Heedle. You almost didn't need the 2 seed, did you?
I honestly beg to differ. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think having Heedle at that 3C, that's one of the things that makes that team so dangerous, and it lets him develop in a sheltered role to show flashes there. I kind of like that for them. Yeah, that probably will age badly, as most long-term free agent contracts do. It's just a fact. That's how they usually work. But for now, really solid player. So like
And he's had a good year, 20
and their
goals and
windows right
61
now.
points. Yeah. 61 points in 77 games for Trocheck's not a bad thing at all. And yeah, you're right. The window's now. And yeah, again, I have nothing wrong with paying the guy. The guy's actually like money. Like he's on a value contract at 5-6 this season, scoring 61 points in 77 games. It's just that's 5-6 till 28, 29, and he's 29 now, right? So then that's kind of where you have to take the step back and think, oh boy. But for now it's working. And like I said, if the Rangers win a cup this year, if the Rangers win a cup next year, everything they do is justified, right? There's no mistakes if you win the Stanley Cup. There's no overpayments. There's no poor free agent signings. If that player is on your team hoisting the Stanley Cup, that means he made a difference. It means you did something right because 31 teams don't win in a year.
Damn right, I couldn't agree more. Just one last point on Filip Chytil. You brought up that he probably wouldn't have made nearly as much money if he signed at the start of the year. What I want to know, one of those things that I always think about is who waited. Was it the Rangers who wanted to wait, or was it Chytil who wanted to bet on himself and wait? Because that thing always comes to mind. Because like maybe Chytil and his agent were looking like, hey, I did pretty well in playoffs. Let's see if I can carry that into this year. Or maybe the Rangers were just like, he played really well in playoffs. What if this is a fluke? I don't want to sign him right now. It could have been either or. It stumps me, to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't think it's there's no black and white answer either, right? Like Chytil and his group and the Rangers would probably both have had a number that they would have agreed on, right? Even if the Rangers were offering 2 and Chytil was asking 4, well, they might have agreed on 3. It's just the Rangers never brought their ask that high, and or Chytil never brought their ask, their ask that low. You know what I mean? Like it might the final call is like, okay, we're not going to do this right now. That probably was made by one party, but I would be surprised if one or the other went in saying we're not going to sign them yet for this reason, or we're not going to sign the deal yet for these reasons. It's probably, the negotiation happens. They realized that common ground wasn't going to be reached yet, so they just postponed it. That's probably more. That's more how I kind of envision that. I don't really see like two people going in and one of them saying, "No, I'm going to score 22 goals in 69 games, and you're going to have to pay me more." Okay, so like, although funny, I always think of this contract, random tangent. I just always think of that LeBanc contract where he had 56 points, a monster playoffs in San Jose's run to the 2019 West Final. He signs a 1-by-1, and then he doesn't play well at all the next year, and he probably loses himself a decent chunk of money. Like that's a solid bet on yourself. Well, I'm gonna have a great year. I'm gonna sign this 1-by-1,
Doesn't he
stay on
still
this.
sign for a decent amount?
Oh, he did, which kind of like I was a little bit suspicious of that. I was a
Yeah,
little bit
I
like,
think I think the
yeah,
exact same thing you're thinking. I think
yeah,
he's like, okay, I'll do you guys a favor here, but we have an under the table agreement. I'm getting
yeah,
paid after this year.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
coming.
Yeah. Moving on, somebody who we talked about while he signed his entry level
Oh, I'm
contract.
excited for this one. I'm
Oh my
really
God,
excited for this.
Buddy's been a highlight reel in both games he's played already, man. I love the way the 27 looks on his back. Um,
Such a rock star number for a goalie.
Honestly, man, like I, the Buffalo Sabres are a shoe-in playoff team next year. Absolutely
Why'd you have
no
to break out the
doubt.
jinx? Why'd you have to break it out?
I didn't say the word juggernaut. That's really the big one. Um, Buffalo to me are like, it's again, injuries have to happen. A massive regression from Tage Thompson has to happen. Something along those lines have to happen for Buffalo not to make the playoffs. You look at this team, you look at these contributors, you look at Thompson 24, Tuck 26, 22-year-old Darlene, 21-year-old Dylan Cousins, 23-year-old Casey Middlestat, 20-year-old Jack Quinn, 20-year-old JJ Paterka, 19-year-old Owen Power, and you're throwing in 21-year-old Devon Levi. We talked about him a little bit already when he had his contract signed. This guy looked like an absolute stud at Northeastern in the NCAA. Back to back, really good seasons. He was one of those again. Uh, it's me and James's bread and butter coming from junior A hockey. One of these tier 2 to NCAA players that gets drafted late rounds. He was like a 7th rounder out of what was they have the CCHL Carleton Place Canadians. That's one of the junior A leagues in Ontario, or Quebec. One of the junior A leagues back east by any means. Has 2 monster seasons in the NCAA, man. To me, I feel like we're watching the start of one of these goalies that's going to be in that upper tier, right? He's going to be in that top 5 Vezina voting for a little while. I don't know if next year is going to be the first time he's there, but it's not going to be too long before he's being thrown around in that conversation. In my hockey pools, you talk about your fantasy team. In my hockey pools, we always mandate that everybody takes a rookie. That's always my rule, because it definitely for me like weans out who's paying attention and who's not. Like it definitely gives the advantage to somebody who like it knows who's coming over. Like I remember the year Kaprizov won the Calder, he was my pick, and at least one person at the table had no idea who the guy was. Um, I think Devon Levi might be my rookie pick next year, honestly.
Totally fair. Yeah, I already got my buddy who's been sitting in the league's basement acquiring injured players for next year. Think like Werenski's and Landeskog type guys. I already got him to be like, hey, like you need to go pick him up. He's your keeper goalie for next year. Because mine's a keeper league, right? And we have
Mm-hmm.
12 keepers per team. So it's like you gotta fill them out. And I was like, hey, just take the guy, do it. I don't want him because I have Logan Thompson and Pyotr Kochetkov. One of those two is going to be a starter for sure. And yeah.
I
So
I I think Carolina would be making a mistake not making Kochetkov their starter next year. And
I
I think
completely agree. And that's
Thompson's
not just because I'm biased.
yeah, no, Thompson's a slam dunk. Kachekhov's numbers were better than Anderson's and Ranta. He spent so much time in the AHL this year just because the waivers thing, man. It's
Hmm.
because like he was a waiver exempt. So when Ranta and Anderson were healthy, they were sending him up and down like it was a water slide. Like I just, like it's disappointing if you're the kid because you really earned one of those spots. But I think he steals it in camp the way he's played this year. Anyways, to more.
No, no, one more note on
Okay,
Devon Levi. I got one thing. Did you see the article about Devon Levi and UC Saros?
no,
Okay, so Saros being a smaller goalie, like, and Levi being a smaller goalie as well. Like, they're two of the smaller goalies in the league. And yeah, so there was this article on the Score. They always have such good articles, just quality stuff. And yeah, it was about Devon Levi having met Soros and having like talked to him over the phone or something like that. And they were like exchanging like techniques and tips to each other. And Soros was saying stuff like, "Yeah, I've actually learned a couple things from him that I've applied to my game in this past year or two." And I was
that's
just thinking, that's so cool. Like Saros is an established elite, like top five goalie in the league, and he's like taking tips from a guy who wasn't even in the NHL yet. That's so cool to see guys collaborating like that, and it's just like kind of passing the torch to the next generation, even though Saros isn't that old yet or anything like that. I just think it's just really, really cool to see that kind of thing. Guys who have like little to no affiliation with each other, and that's not a pun because they're kind of little. I mean, they're both taller than me, but um, yeah, I just thought that was really, really interesting, and it'll be kind of cool to see like maybe one year those guys are both in an all-star game and they're sitting there like doing little cross crease pushes, being like, I tried this recently. So yeah, I thought that was pretty nifty. But yeah, moving on. I just had to add that little tidbit. One player actually made a nice little impact in his first NHL game, Henry Thrun. What do you think about him? Have you seen anything yet? Have you watched him play yet? I thought he was pretty cool.
No, just red stuff. Again, here's another tier two NCAA guy. He was drafted out of the USHL in 2019 by Anaheim, doesn't sign, goes to Harvard, plays 3 solid seasons at Harvard, and is scooped up by the San Jose Sharks. The Canucks have actually been signing their own slew of college free agents, I think, including Aidan McDonough. That's like 3 specifically NCAA ones now. They signed another one today. Um, and then they signed one guy out of a pro league in Europe. Um, this is becoming more common, I think, because more players are going down this road, right? We talk about this a lot, how the NCAA development path is being preferred more recently than it ever has been before. And here's just another byproduct. And yeah, tell me about what you saw in his first game because I haven't watched him play yet. I just from what I've read, he seems like a solid pickup for a Sharks team that could definitely use some young players coming up.
Yeah, so like from what I saw, really, really smooth skating left-handed defenseman. Like he's not a guy who's overly offensive or overly defensive. He's your perfect like new age puck moving two-way guy. A guy who's not like necessarily overly physical. He can hit when he needs to. He can be a defensive D when he needs to. He could probably run your power play if he needed to. His last 2 years at Harvard, his last year this season, serving as captain. The year before he wasn't captain, but whatever. He just shy of a point per game, 32 points in 35 games in 21-22, 31 points in 33 games in 22-23. He steps directly in San Jose after Anaheim acquired his rights. Or sorry, after San Jose acquired his rights from Anaheim. And the really cool thing I saw was that there was no guarantee he was going to sign there. The Sharks traded the pick for him, not knowing he was going to sign. And then their coach, David Quinn, and his NCAA ties went in there. And apparently, he had tried to recruit Henry Thrun when he went into the NCAA originally because Quinn was coaching still. And didn't get him. But when Quinn went back to him this time and said, hey, this is what we're trying to build here. We think you can be a really important piece moving forward. You're going to get a lot of exposure early on, every opportunity you can get with this being a rebuilding team. He just said, hey, this is a guy I trust in Quinn, and he signed. 2 points in his first 2 games. Looking great. Like the guy has such a nice transitional game, And the one thing, because you know how they have those little reviews on elite prospects from when they got drafted?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the one thing I saw that was really cool that I have a really very visual memory, and I thought back to seeing him play after reading this. It said he's a very good four-way skater. And I thought about it, and yeah, this guy just has crazy mobility on a dime every direction. It's very, very interesting to see how he can like get up to players and shadow them that way when he's defending. Really, really cool. I'm curious to see how he develops. I think he's probably going to be like a number 3, number 4D if things work out. And that's another feather in the cap for San Jose as they look to just keep putting pieces together for their team when it's eventually good again.
Yeah, I mean they had one defenseman this year play for them and play more than literally more than Henry Thrun, 3 games that was 28 or younger, and that was Mario Ferraro. The rest of them are vets. You have 35-year-old Vlasic, 28-year-old Benning, 32-year-old Eric Carlson. Like this is an old team. Even somebody like a Radim Simek who stepped in this year is 29 years old. He's a new player in the league, sure, but he's not a kid, right? And so for
And
San
that's who
Jose,
Thrun's playing with.
yeah, so for San Jose, you've got a kid coming up, and for the Sharks, there's still bad years ahead before the good. But if you're a San Jose fan, these kinds of things are these kinds of things are those rays of light that you want to hold on to for when this team is eventually a contender again, because it's not now, but it'll probably be when Thrun is a contributor to that cause.
And it's funny because you say if you're a San Jose fan, because there's this one guy in my hockey pool named Quentin. He's from the Bay Area, and I have no idea how he ended up in my pool, just a mutual friend of a friend when we were looking to fill guys in our league like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And he's a Sharks fan. So every time the Sharks are playing someone, you get like a little Quentin review. It's awesome. I absolutely love the guy, and he's like one of two Sharks fans I know.
I
So
I I've never met a Sharks fan, I want to say.
it's not like a huge fan base over here. Like there's a lot of like even as an Abs fan, I meet a lot of Abs fans. So like
Yeah.
it's the kind of
No,
thing
I
where
know
like
I know other Avs
yeah.
fans for sure. Like I have friends. I have a friend that's a Panthers fan. I know people that are Penguins fans. Like I mean, I live here now, so Flames, Oilers, obviously, but even at home, Oilers were a semi-popular one. Toronto, of course, Montreal, of course, but you know, don't think San Jose. I don't think I've ever met a Sharks fan.
No, and from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it's actually a pretty sick building to see a game like atmosphere wise. The fans get into it there, which is sick to see for a California team.
Dude, I'll never forget that game 7 against Vegas. That's one of the coolest just things to watch ever. Um, I quoted a line from Ray Ferraro's call of that game today without even realizing it. I didn't even realize where it
What
was
was it?
from. After LeBanc scores, Ferraro goes,
We talked about Joe Thornton saying you never know if your first game 7 is your last game 7. Kevin LeBanc has got a goal and 3 assists.
and before the game, like Drumheller has been around since 2003. We're a 2-year-old team, so obviously our franchise history is much more limited. But neither team going into today had ever played a game 7. Like in 20 years of Drumheller hockey, they never played a game 7, and then nobody on the ice for either team, whether they were a attorney, had ever played a game 7 either at the junior hockey level. So I said that at the beginning of the game. It's the great Joe Thornton who once said, "You never know if your first game 7 is your last game 7." It's a whole lot of firsts in this building, not only for every single player on the ice, but in the history of both the Blackfalds Bulldogs and I quoted Joe Thornton, and I was like, where is that from? I just know Thornton said it. I knew it was a Thornton quote. And it came to me like I was just sitting there during an intermission. I was like, oh, that's where that's from.
Your hockey nerd brain just
Yeah.
triggered and linked the
Yeah.
lines together.
Yeah. It took a lot out of me not to say they've slayed the Dragons after they won today.
I 100% would have said that. I would have taken that for sure. I would have taken it and ran with it.
If they scored in overtime, I don't think I would have been able to hold myself back, but they won 5-2.
Well, I didn't ask. Was it a good series? Like, how was it watching
Oh, it
it?
was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah?
It was nuts. Yeah. No, I was complaining about working as much as A, I volunteered to, and B, and B, like enjoying every second I was calling a game, right? I just feel beat, and I feel beat knowing I don't get a break. That's the other thing, is at least after the first round, I did 5 games and whatever it was, like 7 days, 8 days. But it was like, I got a week off. I don't get a week off. I get no time off. I think the loose plan is to be on the bus to Brooks on Thursday and then just stay there an extra night, so we're not taking a 3-hour bus ride on a game day, which would literally give me one more night at home and then weekend in Brooks, Alberta, which I've never been there. I have heard not sparkling things, but the team's good, so it'll be a fun series to watch, this one too.
The team's good. That's all you're gonna say? The team's
Brooks is cracked. Brooks is unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like yeah. They're the best players in the league are from that team this year. Probably at least the best player in the league is from that team. Aidan Fink, he'll be a 3rd rounder. If somebody's smart, he'll be a 3rd rounder. I don't imagine him dropping further than that. But they've also got a bunch of other kids that are going to get drafted this year, and you've got this is the juggernaut. This is the Goliath. This is going to be where we were second in the South, and there was still a bigger gap between them and us than between us and, like, I think even 5th, maybe 6th in the South, right? Like,
so we've got one more piece of NHL news before we move on to junior that we've already been talking about. As we've mentioned, we're both Aidan a lot more so than me, but we're end of the night. It's late. We're recording very late, so I'm not surprised we're tangent city here. But yeah, I just
really quickly, like, intervention, just because, like, I feel like this needs to be said. I'm a lot less self-conscious about these, like, tangents and us just randomly talking, because and we got a lot of good feedback at the beginning, but the feedback lately has largely been like, oh, hell yeah, I just love hearing you guys talk, right? It hasn't been like, oh, I love your informative podcast, right? It's just somebody telling me that they just love to have us on just to hear us talk about whatever, right? So I feel less bad about going on all these stupid tangents when the feedback isn't like, oh, I love how informed I feel about your podcast. It's been specifically just like, I just love listening to it. So it's, if you want us to stop, you just have to stop telling me that you just love listening to it and tell me you want to learn more or want it to be more on topic, and we can maybe make that happen.
But yeah, this one last piece. This one is very near and dear to my heart. Nathan MacKinnon finally has 100-point season. Like, I worried it wasn't going to happen just because he's missed like a dozen games roughly, and yeah, I had some worries it wasn't going to happen. It was going to be another 97, 99 type thing. But no, he hits 100 points. He's got a little bit more room to go with a few games left to play, and oh, it's just awesome to see. Like, I was kind of half paying attention to the game, and then I threw it on just in the corner, kind of half paying attention to it continually while I was finishing up my shift today. And it hit overtime. Like, the Avs were up 3-1, and then the Sharks tied it, went to OT, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. Georgiev made like 2 incredible saves, and then Devon Toews just kind of chips it up past a stick to MacKinnon on the breakaway. And it was that typical MacKinnon shot, the one where it's like, if you have never watched hockey before, it almost kind of looks like a flutter puck, but it's just an absolute bullet of a wrist shot, kind of like a wrist snapper hybrid. And yeah, just top left. And there it was, 100th point of the season, first 100-point season ever in overtime. You couldn't write it better. Like, it was just awesome. I kind of did like a fist pump, and it was like a full body, like full hyped up fist pump behind my computer, and nobody at work can see it, but it was just like, oh, finally, this is just awesome. And The guy's just had an incredible year. I mean, he's a top-notch player. We've been over this before, but he's really, really turned it on this past 15, 20 games. Like it's just been menacing. Like he's been top 3 or 4 in point per game for a while now. And it's just awesome to watch. It's incredible being able to be this big of a fan of a player that's this good. Like it's just oh, like my favorite player of all time is Paul Correa, and I hadn't yet to gain consciousness when he was at the top of his game. Like yeah, when I was getting into hockey, he was a top end player. But when I started paying attention the most, he was kind of winding down. So it's pretty awesome to watch, and I can't wait to see how this carries into playoffs because everybody knows Nate does crazy things in playoffs. He's a monster. So, yeah. You have anything to add on that?
No, I mean, first 100-point season, it feels kind of silly to be like, oh, this is it. Like he should theoretically, like he had one season where he played 82 games and got 99 points. So I'm not even counting that one, but there are realistically 4 other seasons that he was on a 100-point pace over 82 games, right? Like not even including that one. So it does feel long overdue, and it feels like almost cruel that this is the first one, right? It's incredible, man. Like you think about his beginning of his career, he had a great rookie year, but then he had 3 years where he was not, not the special player he was supposed to be. And despite having 3 seasons of playing, but I don't want to say pretty average hockey, but at least producing at a pretty average rate, he's still career 748 points in 703 regular season games. Like this guy is this guy has been a monster since really 2017-18 at this point, right? And so, like again, yeah, it's his first one. It shouldn't be his first one, but it's not going to be his last one, man. No way.
One of the crazy things for me is I remember listening to an interview of his, I can't remember where, but he was talking about those years where his production was like pretty average by superstar players standards and by first overall caliber kind of guy. He just thought maybe I'm just a 50-point guy. He went into an offseason thinking, yeah, damn, maybe I'm just a 50-point guy. Maybe this is all I am. And that's all I am. That's crazy to say because it's the best league in the world. And if a player's putting up 50 points in the best league in the world, they're pretty unreal. Like that's a fact. But by his standards and by a superstar's standards, it's crazy to think that's what he was thinking at that point, and then he's had the career he's had since then. So yeah, just
he's been
tip of the cap to Nate Dogg.
He's been a top 5 player for like 5 years, man. Like
yeah.
Arguably top 2 at times, right? Like to me, I have him in the top 5, no doubt, with him and Makar, my 2 Avs in that top 5. But yeah, it's nuts. And speaking of best players in the world, man, got another one. And we talk about Bedard a lot, but anything we thought Bedard was in the regular season, it just seems like playoff Bedard is so much better. And I didn't think that this guy could get better. But he's played 3. Do you know what his stat line is through 3 playoff games, James? Don't look at it. I'm going to ask you.
Me.
Just guess. 3 games for Regina. Regina, I'm pretty sure Regina are actually the lower seed in the series too. Let me quickly corroborate. They are. So the underdog Regina Pats are up 2-1 in the series over Saskatoon. Yeah. He's played 3 games. How many? What's the GAPTS?
14 points is my guess.
Oh, that's a bit over. 6-5-11 in 3 games. Game 1, 2 goals, 3 points. Game 2, 3 goals, 5 points. Game 3, 1 goal, 3 points. That is in 6-1, 6-5, and 4-3 victory. So 11 points. The Regina Pats have scored 15 goals. So Connor Bedard has got a point on 11 of 15 Regina Pats goals in the playoffs so far.
Do you think he was on the ice for any of the other 4?
I haven't watched them. I haven't watched them again because the games have been directly correlating. Game 1 was Friday, which was my game 5. Game 2 was Sunday, which was my game 6, and game 3 was tonight, which was my game 7. So I haven't really been able to, even pay any attention. I saw the clip of his goal today where he just kind of like
Oh, the split.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
like wiggled between two guys, and the finish looks really easy. I can't wait for goalies to semi start figuring out his move to the forehand and him to just start undressing them to the backhand and making them look stupid. They're gonna bite so hard on that shot on the forehand. The first time he fakes the shot on the forehand and pulls it, it's gonna be unreal. Like the goalie's done. Like it's just, yeah, this guy's nuts, and 143 points in 57 games the regular season. Like, uh, he's gonna pass that points per game in the playoffs, which is crazy. And Regina Pat's team that gets to see this guy off to the draft, it's cool. And yeah, I'm excited to keep watching this guy play, really.
Yeah, I really hope he gets to go decently far in the playoffs. Like I know that they're not considered even like a top 3 WHL team, but the like not even close to that really. But Saskatoon was considered one of the better teams. So you never know if they can push them through, get to that second round, anything's possible. You know what I like to say? You just got to get in the dance. Just got to get in the dance and anything can happen.
So speaking of just trying to get in the dance, there's about 4 teams left in this dance. 3 of them are all tied for last with 56 points. This is the dance, of course, for the best odds for Bedard. Chicago, Columbus, and Anaheim all have 56 points each. Montreal has 66. Arizona has 67. Those are your bottom 6 teams. Montreal and Arizona are probably a little bit out of it. Honestly, Matt, I'm looking. These are your bottom teams, okay? Backwards: Anaheim, Columbus, Chicago, San Jose, Montreal, Arizona, Philadelphia, Vancouver, Washington. I would be actually completely content seeing Bedard in any one of those jerseys except for the Coyotes. I don't know about you. Like I wouldn't hate any of them.
I think he's going to Chicago or Philly. Those teams have too much money to be made, and sometimes I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Honestly, man, if I was a conspiracy theorist, I'd say Arizona. Bettman just needs an excuse to keep that team in the league. Did you see that somebody's suing the city of Tempe for that arena? Oh my god, dude. I don't know.
What's happening there?
I know nothing beyond that. It's just there's like a lawsuit involved with the arena project that is like holding up the plans, right? And even if that goes nowhere, man, it's another freaking problem with this team, and it's just another thing where you have to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, why do they exist? Right? Why does this franchise exist in this city?
Did you see the April Fools Elliot Friedman tweets Arizona to Houston?
Yeah, I did see that. That was funny.
Especially because like I had the notification pop up on my phone as breaking.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I must have missed that. I do generally like. I don't even look on April 1st at anything. But you know what got me the other day? I don't look at April 1st and anything, but then in the following days when I look up stories and stuff and I'm just looking, I see things that were posted on April 1st that are still there. I'm like, there's no way. Like one of them that got me was McDavid boarded Mikey Anderson, right? And he got a penalty for it in the game, and it wasn't that bad of a hit. It was whatever. It was a penalty, but it wasn't like egregious. And there was a headline that he got suspended 6 games for it. And I was like, what the hell? And I saw this yesterday, but of course it was an April 1st AM post. I was like, oh, okay. But now it took me way too long to realize that. And I feel like if you're gonna post something for April Fools, just delete it after. Like delete it at the end of April 1st. Because I don't like to be fooled on April 3rd, man. You gotta leave me alone. cut me some slack.
How tired were you when you saw that?
I've been perennially tired this whole
Perennially tired.
at least since game 3.
Can you trademark that?
Dude, again,
Can you tweet that?
perennially tired.
I've been perennially tired.
That's gonna be the name of the episode. I sometimes struggle, but we found it. It's episode 19, perennially tired.
Episode 19, Aidan's been perennially tired because the sun's shining in BC and I'm wide awake.
Yeah. I'm gonna Photoshop like bags under my eyes for that graphic. Make
them Gucci bags. You're fancy. Don't ever let anybody tell you you're not.
Little like subtle low opacity logo on them.
All right. Well, you ready? You ready for me to say it?
Well, I have so the other thing that we talked about doing is like including trivia is asking like a question, and like one of us asked the other one a question, and my question for you this week was um what's your favorite NHL goal celebration of all time that you can think of off the
No,
top of your head? Like just
if
the
if I saw this in our little rundown that you put together, and also Aiden's the MVP because he puts these rundowns together every week. I usually add like a few notes in and then just do the rest of my stuff off the cuff. But yeah, so if I had actually seen it live, it would have been Solani shooting the gloves.
yeah, I
That's what
gotcha.
it would have been. I think that one's the coolest one. But because I actually did see it, it's got to be Burrows slaying the dragon.
Just
And
like
that's not
sliding into the bench and
that, and it's not the actual celebration, it's the moment. But if we're talking pure like
yeah,
self,
just what the player did, right? Like
oh, the Patrick Kane heartbreaker, easy.
I love that. I do love that. Um,
But
that
okay,
one,
just one thing on the heartbreaker. When I saw it, I didn't realize it was the heartbreaker. I was like, it's a swim and then a fist pump. I didn't know it was a heartbreaker.
I do actually agree with you that it took me multiple viewings to be like, oh, that's what he's doing.
Not just multiple
Um,
viewings, years.
yeah, yeah.
I think I only learned it like 2 years ago.
That's late, but well, and Bedard did it. Well, and Bedard did it a little better because Bedard draws the heart more
Yeah,
coherently, and
yeah.
Kane was kind of just a circle, like, and heat of the
He
moment. I
swam
understand
and
you're
then
not
he
going
did
to
a
be,
fist pump.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, Kane's up there for sure. I agree with you in terms of the like because I saw it live, and that's where this one's coming from. Um, it was just a random early regular season game in the would have been the lockout season, but Los Angeles Kings playing at the Rexall Place up 1-0 in the last 10 seconds of the game. Um, I think Taylor Hall throws the puck on net, quick makes a blocker save, and it falls to Nail Yakupov at the side of the net. And he bats it in out of midair, and the guy goes for a skate and slides on his knees. Basically, he goes down before the blue line in one zone. He slides on his knees through the entire neutral zone and basically to the top of his own crease. Like this guy knee slid this whole rink. And like I know it's showboating criticism, but you watch him do that and you watch his face, he's actually that happy that he just scored that goal, right? And that's probably my favorite part about it is you see the excitement that he's busting down the ice with, the fist pump at center, and then when he gets to the crease, he kind of just puts his head in his hands. He's like, I just did that. like um and I remember watching that game live. I don't remember why I was watching the game. It was the
I saw
national.
that game live too.
Yeah. And it was the Edmonton should have tied it, and it was just a goalie interference call that brought the tying goal back. So it was even like that added like the game should have already been tied, and he does that to tie it. They ended up winning it overtime. um, yeah, that's probably it for me. Just because it's also the only like aside from the word bust, it's the only thing I associate with Nail Yakupov.
That one's actually extra special for me too, not just well because I saw it live, but just a little precursor before what I say. I'm a terrible athlete. I only played hockey for 4 years. I am an awful hockey player. I bring intangibles. That's all I've got. I'm a morale guy. Like that's what I add to a team, and I'm good at face-offs. That's it. That is literally the whole thing. And so a couple summers ago before I came out to Vancouver, me and some friends rented the ice in Port Alberni because we knew a guy who worked at the rink, and it wasn't even renting the ice. It was just, hey, the ice is available. Go have fun. And like six of us went out there and just had a blast. And my friend Jesse, who's a goalie, was a pretty solid goalie in his day, actually like destroyed his collarbone because he hadn't played in so long. And he put the pads on and he did like a cross crease stretch. And yeah, he was not happy. But yeah, so collarbone, shoulder, something like that, some muscle around there, I think. And but we were doing just like 2-on-2, and one friend of mine had was with us, and he had played junior A. He wasn't even wearing any gear, and I think we were doing 3-on-1 against him at one point. And he was just putting dangling circles around us, and I stripped the puck off of him and I put it over Jesse's shoulder, and I did the Yakupov Selly, except I added the Snow Angel at the end.
So the Theo Fleury ostensibly then.
Yeah, but I was full spread eagle on the ground, waving all of my limbs around, doing a Snow Angel. So, yeah. All right.
All right, do your thing.
I gotta. Do I get to ask you a question? Is that a thing?
No. It's like question of the week, so we'll have one.
Okay. All
That's
right.
kind of what I was thinking with that.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. All right.
The last one wasn't the last one we talked about like dream jersey or something.
Yeah,
then,
it's something like that. Something that wasn't super memorable. Like we could do better.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. We're on episode 19. I feel like injecting more of like our personality rather than the like trivia. It's like, yeah, this is an objectively correct or incorrect answer. Like I want to get more like add the personal opinion personal opinion thing to the trivia. You know what I mean? Like that's the point. Anyways, let's go to trivia now. Do your thing.
All right. Well, it ain't the great Canadian hockey podcast without a couple great games to play. And I got a couple for Aidan today. So, I've got one career trajectory and one draft question. Which one do you want first?
I'm opening up the notes document. So career trajectory, because I'm ready to type it.
The note docs. All right. So, this player played from the 99-2000 season until the 12-13 season. Career went Philadelphia, Phoenix, Calgary, Chicago, Columbus, San Jose, Philly, Carolina, Philly. This player popped into my head earlier today because the trajectory of his career is just all over the place.
Yeah,
And I was like, I need to look at this. And honestly, it was more teams than I thought it was.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the guys that I was like, oh, it might be him when it was like Philly, Phoenix, Calgary, Chicago. It's like, okay, nope. It's actually not. Sorry. There are a few guys like that where it's like I always think of them off the bat, and then it's never them, and then you actually have asked me. Like the Christian Huselius one, he always popped into my head for random other ones that weren't him. And then you actually asked me, I'm like, oh my god, this one actually is Christian Huselius. I was like mind blown. I was like, there's no way this just happened.
The Christian Huselius one's really funny because my buddy Cole, he's like one of my best friends. We get each other something for Christmas every year, and we both collect hockey cards religiously. And he got me an autographed Christian Huselius rookie card for Christmas one year. And I opened it up and I saw it was a card case, and I was like, oh, there's probably gonna be something sick. And it's Christian Huselius. And I looked at him and I was like, you didn't. Really? The year before it was Matt Stajan.
Matt Stajan. You know what? My memory of Matt Stajan was him scoring a big goal against Vancouver in the playoffs. That's my lasting Matt Stajan impression. It's just that.
So I just want to do my usual check-in. Do you have any ideas whatsoever yet?
No, not really. There's like a little inkling of me that is like, is it a goalie? Because I always kind of, when it's a goalie, I try and figure out if it's a goalie or not pretty early.
Goalies make it easier, I feel like.
Yeah, they definitely do. But this is, I don't think, a goalie. So I'm just now trying to think of like, yeah, and it's hard, right? Because I'm trying to think that 12-13 Philly team, but they didn't make the playoffs. And it was the shortened season. So not only is it a non-playoff team, which usually is my automatic disqualifier for me being able to like pick out their roster, but it's also a non-playoff team in a 48 game season. that I am now trying to figure this out, and not being successful so far, and not really even being on a coherent path to.
Would you like your hint?
Yeah, I'll take my hint because the next one's a draft one, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna confidently say that I would rather have the hint here.
This player went on at least one deep playoff run with Philly. At least
Okay.
one.
Okay.
I'll give you more than that. This player went on more than one long playoff run with Philly.
Okay.
But that's a long career. So
It is.
where are those?
Well, I have to, again, just because I just need to do it, because if I don't do this, I'm not going to get anything. I'm just focusing in on the 2010 Flyers run now, where they went to the final and lost to Chicago.
That's not a bad idea.
No. Again, that was like that was either I think that was the second year that I remember like really, really paying like a lot of attention. Well, part of the reason that I was like goalie is because I know Michael Layton was Carolina, Chicago, Philly, and because it's Michael Layton, I wasn't sure about anything else, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
You'd be
No,
correct in saying it's not Michael Layton, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to count that as a guess.
Yeah. Michael Layton and Brian Boucher is like definitely close to like the most random duo of goalies to go that far in the playoffs. Like that's just, I don't know, it doesn't get any better than that. Philly, Phoenix, Calgary, Chicago, Columbus, San Jose. You said multiple. I don't even like, again, dude, like I said, that 09 season was the first one I really paid attention. So I'd struggled to pull out any Flyers playoff runs prior to that.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this because you never would get this, but 99 2000 Philly went at least to the third round.
Okay. That was me saying okay as in cool, not as okay as in that helps. Just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That does so much for me. Okay.
Well, at least I'm not trying to conjure an imaginary Flyers run prior to. Man, I can't shake the goalie thing, man. Like it was Boucher and Layton in 2010, and Brian Boucher I know had been there before, right? And I remember him in Philly and in Phoenix, and I actually don't remember him in any of the other cities as all. Like literally not one. Oh, Carolina. So that's 1, 2, 3 of his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. So I'm 3 for 7 on ones I know. I guess his career would kind of have been this long, and there's nobody else. So I'm gonna go Brian Boucher.
Bang.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you said his name earlier, and I was just like trying to hide my facial expression.
I wasn't even looking, man. I was looking at my list of
Oh.
teams that I had written down. I
Oh,
wasn't looking
that's
at your
great.
face.
That's great. I'm glad you got it. I'm really glad
Me
you got
too.
it.
Well, dude, I don't know what it is, man. Like you said it, and I looked at it, and I got a goalie, right? I got the goal. This is a goalie, right? In my head for some reason, and I kind of got tunnel vision on Layton because he was more the guy than Boucher was that year.
Okay, so this draft one is very convoluted.
Oh, do I actually need to write this down too? Because the
Yeah, you're
last
gonna
one
have
you
to write
gave me
this
was
down.
like, oh, you need to name X amount of this rounders, and it was dumb. But if this is,
It's a two-parter. Do you want the stupid part first or the one that's a guessing game first?
give me the dumb one first, because
Okay, the 2013 NHL draft. I want you to name the top 10 picks in order.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nathan MacKinnon went first. Teams or no?
Yep, teams.
Okay, Nathan MacKinnon 1 to Colorado. Alexander Barkov 2 to Florida. Jonathan Drouin 3 to Tampa. Seth Jones 4 to Nashville. Val Cole was the next year. That was the 5th pick the year after. 2013. Elias Lindholm 5 to Carolina. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
At that time, my favorite player in that draft.
Like going in, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I loved MacKinnon in
I'm not saying the
Halifax.
best. I'm saying my favorite.
Yeah. No, I was a big MacKinnon guy. 2013. Well, Darnell Nurse was 7 to
That's
Edmonton.
correct.
So I'm going to skip 6 for now because I also know Bo Horvat was 9 to Vancouver. Valeri Nichushkin was 10 to Dallas. So I need 6 and 8
That's right.
is what I need. Okay. Max Domi was a pick later on. I think he was like 12th or something to
That's true.
picks. Yeah. What really helps me is knowing the teams in this situation. So I just need to try and think like who was bad in 2013. And Vancouver wasn't. They traded for Jersey's pick.
Yeah, I still remember watching the draft after a sleepover at my buddy's place and seeing that we have a trade to announce.
Yeah. 2013. Wouldn't have been Chicago or LA. They were the conference finalists. It was Boston in the other conference final against Pittsburgh. Sean Monahan went 6th to Calgary. Okay.
Bingo.
8th overall in 2013. This is where I am. William Nylander went 8th in 2014. So it's not him. Who was the pick before Horvat? No, Toronto made the playoffs that year. That was the year they choked to Boston. Trying to think of teams that I missed. Ottawa, Montreal, I think both made the playoffs that year too. Was it Rista? No, it wasn't Ristolainen. He was before. He's too old. No, it was Ristolainen, 8 to Buffalo, right?
Bingo. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next
Okay.
one I have should be really, really easy for you. It is a bit lengthy though.
Okay. Do I need to write it down or should I?
I don't think you'll need to write it down. I
Okay.
think it's going to be incredibly easy for you.
Okay.
And this one is just like an easy question that like full-on hockey nerds should be able to get. It's just a little bit time consuming. And like
Okay.
a normal person would be like, this is so stupid. How would
But
I get that?
okay.
But a nerd would be like, yeah, okay. So you need to name every first overall pick in order from 2005 until now.
Oh, okay. Crosby, Eric Johnson, Patrick Kane, Steven Stamkos, John Tavares, Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Nail Yakupov, Nathan MacKinnon, Aaron Ekblad, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Nico Hischier, Rasmus Dahlin, Jack Hughes, Lexi Lafreniere, Owen Power, Uri Slikovsky, Connor Bedard.
See, that is so easy for a full-on
Yeah,
hockey nerd.
yeah.
But a normal person would be like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
How do
like
you know
screw
that?
you. Yeah. This is my hockey nerd party trick is generally like since 2010 you could pull out like if you gave me like the year, the team name and the number, I could almost like on a dime give you the player. I would say like if you give me like the 10 drafts between 2010 and 2020, like that there's probably an average of 30 picks in those first rounds, so 300 players. I bet you about 280 of those 300 players I could do that for. Like that helps. And that's why I had to go teams for that 2013 one. It's just because
Yeah.
like I would not have really been able to go 8th overall in 2013 and thought of a player, but I remember Buffalo was bad and I can go back and be like, these were Buffalo's first rounders. And
I
what?
worried you were gonna get Buffalo and mix it up with Zadorov.
Zadorov wasn't a top 10 pick. He was later in was it that draft or was it a different draft?
Different draft.
Yeah. Because there was a Grigorenko Gergensons draft they had. I think that was the year before. And then the year after, I don't remember who the year after was, but Eichel and then Alex Nylander and then Mittelstadt were their next three.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just looking at these first overall picks right now because NHL has their NHL record book part of their site. And so it's just like every first overall pick ever, right? And I forgot that this happened. But so 2002, Jackets pick Rick Nash first overall. 2003, Penguins pick Marc-Andre Fleury first overall. Florida traded away both of those picks.
No way.
Florida had both of those picks.
Wow. What do they
Yeah.
get? What do they get for them?
I have to find out now.
Yeah. Hockey DB show trades. Draft pick rights traded for. That's the move. Okay, that's very weird. So Florida just traded down to 3, and that was apparently the whole trade.
That was the whole thing.
That's interesting. That's what this says on Hockey DB is just Rick Nat.
No. There was a condition. There was a
Oh.
condition. The Panthers also received the right to trade for Columbus's first overall pick in 2003 if they got it. If they won the draft lottery.
Oh, so it was basically if Columbus won the draft lottery the next year, Florida would just get it?
Yeah, they would trade for it. They would swap again. But
That's
Florida had the pick again.
Okay,
So
so
what
then
about the 2003 one?
so now we have to go to Fleury to figure this out. I did not know this at all, man.
No.
Draft pick rights traded from Florida Panthers with round 3 pick in the 2003 draft, who turned into Daniel Carcillo, effective NHLer. 2 Pittsburgh Penguins for Mikhail Samuelsson, round 1 pick in the 2003 draft that turned into Nathan Horton. So again, Florida trades from 1 to 3. They also get Michael Samuelsson in a second rounder.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's crazy. That's absolutely wild.
I wonder who Florida would have taken 1.
Oh, and then Atlanta also in the Jay Bouwmeester one gave Florida 2 draft picks to guarantee that the Panthers would pick Bouwmeester because the Thrashers wanted Kari Lehtinen.
But Lettinen was second.
I don't know what I'm reading then. This is wild.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Maybe they gave them that before.
Yeah.
And then Florida traded down anyways. And we're like, screw you, Atlanta. Your pick ahead of us anyways. Thanks for your draft picks. I don't know.
And then Mike Keenan said at the time, we shouldn't have done that. Jay Bouwmeester would have been number 1 if we'd just kept the pick. So he wanted them to just make the pick.
Sure.
Wow, this is just some random hockey history for you.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, man. But yeah, anyway, do you have any closing thoughts at all?
Yeah, I've got a spiel. I mean, we've talked about the Bulldogs already. My team prior to Blackfalds, James, Ridge Meadows Flames in the PJHL. This is BC Junior B for all my BC listeners and Maple Ridge listeners. The Flames in their Stonehouse Cup final, chance to go to the Cyclones, heartbreaking overtime Game 7 loss. I just, I wanted to say something about this team, man. Like this is a genuinely heartfelt, like serious moment of the podcast that we don't get too often, but definitely have a spot for here. This Ridge Meadows Flames team, like I genuinely from the bottom of my heart owe this organization a lot. First of all, they hired me as a 16-year-old. Initially, I didn't even know that I wanted to be on air, man. I'm a play-by-play broadcaster now. I'm only a play-by-play broadcaster because this team gave a 16-year-old a microphone for live broadcast and said, "Go for it, buddy." That's the only reason I'm doing what I'm doing now, and I love it. And it's because that organization gave me the chance on color that year when I was literally in grade 12. I was 16. And I started doing color with them. And then COVID, right? And after COVID, there was other job offers and other things. And that was we've touched briefly on my mental illness stuff, but that ostensibly prevented me from wanting to do anything else. It was basically like I had other offers from other teams, even in that league, to go be I basically turned down offers to be a play-by-play broadcaster in that league for other teams because I wanted to stay with Ridge. Now Ridge knew me pretty well personally, and they knew pretty, just because I had built personal relationships with people in that organization, they knew what was going on mental health wise. And like, I'm going to be honest, James, like I'm sure they knew that, like, taking me that year with what I was going through was like, calling it a risk seems harsh because I wouldn't have done any damage to the team or anything, but it's more just like they knew that, like, I just wasn't okay really at the time. And so, like, for a junior B organization to have somebody on their staff where they know this guy needs help and everything, like, for them to accommodate me like that and for them to help me and for them to still integrate me and let me be part of the team, even though, like, I basically, like, told them I was leaving, and then basically it's like, oh, I'm kind of thinking of coming back, and I took them on this ride, but just they gave me a home there. They gave me a home and some stability when I really needed it, and like I said, I owe them a lot. My first partner was Andrew Chevry, still the play-by-play guy there. Andrew Islanders, the owner of that team, is one of the nicest people I've ever met. Rick Garrison's the telecast producer there. He's an amazing person too. Just constantly encouraging, constantly picking you up, constantly, telling you you're doing a good job and encouraging you. And then their general manager, Derek Bedard, James, like, this guy has, like, a job, right? He has a day job, and he's the general manager of this team. This guy works ridiculously hard
What's
all
his
the
day
time.
job?
He's a realtor.
Cool.
This guy works crazy hard. Like, I'm at a Valley West Giants game last year, 10 in the morning at the LEC, man. Like, bright and early. I barely want to be there. And there he is scouting, right? There he is downstairs. I'll go down to the intermission, say hi to him. He's watching a kid, right? He's never not, he's never not working, because if he's not doing his job, then what he's doing is he's bringing in players, and he really brought this Ridge Meadows Flames organization. Like, they have so many BCHL APs, right? Their players are going places, and this team, like, this team's success this year, as much as they came up short, was just a byproduct of A, how hard this guy works, and then B, how good the rest of the organization is, because people just want to be involved, right? People just want to give back to the organization because of how good everybody in that organization is. And it's just, as I'm kind of going through my playoffs and seeing them go through their playoffs, it's not lost on me how much I owe them and how much they did for me. So I just needed to shout them out. Obviously a tough loss in that final, but knowing who Derek is and knowing who Andy, the owner, is, and knowing who everybody in that organization is, it wasn't a fluke they were that successful, because everybody cares so much about making that a successful place to be. And I know they'll be back, and I really can't wait to be in Ridge for a PJHL final game and stand there with Derek and Andy and watch it with them.
That was awesome to hear, buddy. I'm glad I got to hear that from you, because I've seen how much passion you've had for that team and how much fun, like, over the time we were going to school together. Like, you would leave after a second year, you're like, yeah, I got a game I got to do tonight. And no matter how tired you were or how stressed you were from school or whatever else may have been coming up in life, it was pretty cool to see you just be like, yeah, I got a game tonight, gotta go. And you have a smile on your face and you go drive away. And that commute sucks during traffic, and you'd leave with a smile on your face. So, I know what that team means to you, and I know what these people mean to you. I had was that the general manager I had the fortune of meeting when I
Yes,
did
you and I
coverage
were
that
doing
one time?
a game, the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs U18 AAA were making a
Yeah.
run. and he was there watching. Of course he was, right? Of course, because he's there watching everything, because he literally works his ass off for that team. It's awesome. And yeah, like I said, that organization's given me a lot, and no matter where I go in calling games, I will literally never pass up the opportunity to talk about how awesome they are and how much I owe them.
Love to hear it, man. Will that be it then?
I think that's it. Yeah. Again, if you guys are listening to this before Friday, go follow the Bulldogs social medias, because this is crazy, man. We're in the South final. This is a second-year team. They're in the conference final, right? Like this is getting kind of nuts, and it's really nice. And you know, these guys are all like talking about somebody earning it and somebody deserving it. This Bulldogs dressing room has gone through a lot this series. They had 3 of their best players out games 5 through 7, 1 through suspension, 2 through injury, and they rallied. And this conference final against Brooks is going to be really fun. So yeah, follow the Bulldog stuff to kind of keep up with how the team's doing. And if you ever see highlights, or if you ever see a stream, I'm calling it. So listening to me do a play-by-play for it, because it's hell of a time.
And follow their Instagram to see the memes Aidan makes.
Yeah, there's one up from today.
Well, perfect. And yeah, thanks everyone for listening. We have a lot of fun doing this, as always. I look forward to the next one. Let's roll that outro. Cheers.